you've been confused by an appraisal, you're not alone, guys. They're often misleading, and trusting them blindly could cost you thousands. I've seen it. So that's why today I thought I would break down why appraisals are different and the different types that they have and what you can do to ensure your home is valued correctly and accurately. Because trust me, not all appraisals are created equal. There are many reasons why you need to get an appraisal. So I'm going to go through all of them so you understand this. And if you rely on the wrong type of appraisal, you could end up leaving money on the table or making a financial decision that backfire. You spend money on something thinking you're going to get the value and then you don't get it. So understand why appraisals differ and how to get an accurate one can make the difference between a smooth sale and it could be a financial setback. A few months ago, I walked into Christy's home. There was a divorce and she had her home on the market. She got the home in the divorce, okay? She was trying to get the value out that she agreed to in the divorce settlement, but it was from a value that was given to her from an appraiser that was hired by her ex-husband. She couldn't get that value out of what she accepted in divorce. And I had to explain this to her. It was very difficult. It felt really bad. She lost $200,000 in value. Now, this wasn't due to the prices going down, because prices have not been going down. This happens a lot. And in my career, 100% of the time, it was happened to the woman, not to the men. I'm not bashing men here, but you ladies out there need to be listening to this video and making sure you understand the true value of your home is not what the appraiser says and why this happens. The best and the most accurate, I'll save it to the end because I need to explain to you why this is going on and the different types of appraisals and how it all works before I give you the answer, because you wouldn't understand it, okay? So why do these appraisals differ? Appraisals, they might seem like hard, objective numbers. Well, it must be true because they're numbers, but the truth is that they're largely subjective, right? And they vary depending on their purpose, whether it's for a divorce settlement, a bank loan, or a home sale, or probate, selling an estate. Each appraisal can tell a complete different story about the value of the same property. They'll come out with different values because appraisers typically follow a standard checklist focusing on data points like square footage, recent comparable sales, and a general condition of the home. They have to meet specific criteria set by banks or other financial institutions, so they're not looking at your home the same way that a potential buyer would. So let me give you an example. Say, imagine your home sits on a busy street. If an appraiser goes out there and says, well, they're not going to make much of a difference in their numbers, it's just another house in the neighborhood to them. But to a buyer, a busy street, that's usually a deal breaker. They might value the home much lower because they don't want the noise or safety concerns of their kids. Buyers, what they do, they on average will take 4, 6, 8% off the value of a home that's not on the perfect lot, something that has a lot issue. It attracts a lower approved buyer into the neighborhood. The only way a person can get into the neighborhood that really can't afford it is because they buy the worst lot in the neighborhood. And when you go to those new home construction places, you're paying premiums for those good lots, right? So that's how it works. Or maybe curb appeal. Appraiser might mark down that the landscaping is well maintained, but they're not thinking about how a buyer feels when they first drive up. What if the exterior doesn't wow them? A buyer might offer less money even if the house is in great shape inside. If they don't like something on the outside, it's an emotional thing. Another common issue appraisers often overlook, I think, are details like whether your home backs up to power lines or an apartment building or a commercial building or a retention pond, or the property is up on a hill or down on a hill, or if the next door neighbor's home is an eyesore. These are things that buyers care deeply about. But for the appraiser, they're just checking off the boxes on a form, okay? So appraisals don't always reflect the emotional and practical considerations that a buyer takes into account and they're the ones buying your home. They determine the value. That's why the appraisal you get from a bank or from a loan might not align with what you will actually get in a sale. So you need to watch out for that. So let's next talk about the different types of appraisals to understand why they can vary so much more depending upon the situation. So each type of appraisal has its own specific purpose, and that can really impact the value that comes back. For example, a divorce appraisal. What's happening in a divorce? The stakes are really high. One spouse often wants a lower value, especially if they plan to buy out the other party. And the other spouse, however, is likely pushing for a higher value to maximize their share. And it's like a tug of war. It can lead to very different outcomes depending on which appraiser is hired and what their instructions are. It's all about positioning for leverage, okay? The next one, which is one I come across a lot, is the home equity loan appraisal. The bank loans money to you, a loan that you use maybe to fix up the house or maybe went and buy another house with that equity. right? And in this situation, banks are really generous. They want to approve you for a bigger loan because they want you to spend more, get a larger loan so you get more interest, right, for them. It's common for homes to be appraised up to 10% higher in these situations. So I think that can be very confusing for homeowners who think their home is suddenly worth more than it really is in the market. And that's my favorite. I walk into the door and it's like, oh, I just got my home appraised for home equity, and we fix up the house and they say it's worth $800,000. And I say, well, listen, I can't sell your house right now the way it looks for $800,000. If I can't do it, no one else can. I'm a top listing agent here in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and if I don't think you can get that home's value, then I don't think you're going to get it, okay? Now, if the appraisal was, say, last year, that might be okay now because prices have gone up, if they have gone up in that neighborhood. Okay, so it depends on when the appraisal was, when you actually got the appraisal. But 99% of the time I walk into a house and they show me an appraisal, it's never get that value. Very difficult, especially in a buyer's market. Next, we have the probate appraisal, right? An estate wants to minimize the taxes, so they want the value to be lower. They want a lower appraisal to reduce the estate's tax liability. So the appraiser may return a lower number than what you might expect in a regular market appraisal. So it's not about what the house could sell for, but what it's worth on paper for tax purposes, okay? Whole different type of an appraisal. And lastly, you have the market sale appraisal, which is really the true market value because it reflects what buyers are actually willing to pay and a seller is willing to sell their house for. Unlike a bank or a tax-related appraisal, this number is based on real-world factors like comparable sales and not neighborhood trends and the buyer's emotions and their demand. And this is the most accurate representation of what your home is truly worth in the current market. Now, you can't always rely on just one number. You have to understand the purpose behind the appraisal to know if it's accurate for your situation, okay? And if you're getting some value here, give a girl some help, subscribe to my channel. I give really good real estate advice here from the heart. I don't fool around. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I've sold thousands of homes. So help a girl out, subscribe. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk more about why realtors disagree with appraisals and why that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because realtors do bring something to the table that appraisers cannot often do, which is a deep understanding of local market trends, buyer emotions, and those small but important details can shift how desirable a property is, okay? It's little things. We know that the value of a home goes beyond square footage or the number of bedrooms. It's really about how buyers feel when they walk into the door, what they feel, how they feel when they drive through the neighborhood, what they see, what's happening in the local market, is that neighborhood hot, all those things. Let me give you an example. A house with great staging can often sell for more than a comparable home that's vacant or cluttered. That's because staging helps potential buyers envision themselves living there, and this emotional connection can dramatically increase perceived value. All right, small improvements I'm talking about, not high cost things like fresh paint, lighting fixture. That might not show up on appraisal's checklist. It doesn't show up, but they can make a huge difference on how much a buyer's willing to pay. You're watching my videos, I have a lot of videos about this. Realtors, they also work directly with appraisers to justify higher values. I go to the appraisals for my listings. I make sure the appraiser knows what they're doing. They know the neighborhood. I provide recent comparable sales. I talk about insights into what's happening in the neighborhood. Make sure your realtor goes to that and is all armed with that. They'd be really good at that because maybe a house sold down the street for more because it's closer to a top-rated school, or maybe because of a new development that's attracting more buyers to the areas, or maybe a little scoop about the neighborhood. These are things appraisers will miss because they don't have the local expertise. So while appraisers provide a standardized view of the home's value, realtors see the nuances, and these can make all the difference when you're coming into pricing your home to sell. So what are some common pitfalls? Some I've mentioned already when it comes to appraisals. And one of the biggest issues is that appraisers don't always take into account factors that matters to buyers. That's the biggest one. We talked about the emotional stuff. For example, proximity to power lines or busy roads or unsightly neighborhood properties, what we talked about already. It might not show up in appraisal, but it can be a deal breaker for potential buyers. They walk away from homes from reasons appraisers might consider insignificant, and then it leads to a major discrepancy between the appraised value and what the home can actually sell for. So this happens all the time. And an appraisal kind of gives you a number, doesn't always reflect what a buyer is willing to pay. So bottom line, guys, get an accurate appraisal. It's so crucial when selling your home. And there's a few key things you can do to make sure it reflects the true value. Little things, doesn't cost a whole lot. Just prepare your home by fixing some minor issues, broken lights or leaky faucets, get your home pre-inspected, know all these things are wrong with your home, and share it with the buyer so they feel more comfortable paying you money, lots of money. Make sure your home is clean, decluttered, well maintained, all that stuff, and any recent upgrades or improvements are clearly pointed out to the appraiser. Now, I have tons of videos on the subject, so you can get all the information on my channel. And really, it doesn't stop there either. I mean, I know a skilled realtor plays a critical role in guiding you through the appraisal process, guys. They understand the local market, can help you make sure your appraisal is based on comparable sales that really truly reflect your home's value, what buyers are looking for. Realtors can also communicate directly with these appraisals to provide other context, such as neighborhood trends or recent upgrades that might not be obvious. So that's why it's really important to attend an appraisal with the appraiser, okay? So work with a knowledgeable realtor. There's some out there. If you don't have somebody, I can introduce you to somebody who's really good. Prepare your home, ensure you're going to get accurate appraisal, and avoid any pitfall that can undervalue your home. And as I promised in the beginning, I was going to give you the best way to get the best appraisal and true accurate value of your home. Do both. If you really want to spend the money, get an appraisal, get it appraised. I mean, I don't do it for my properties, but if you really want to do it, get an appraisal and then have your realtor give you the analyze and compare. Compare the two. You'll have a concrete view. Buy the book stuff, by an appraisal expert, and also you have your realtor who will understand more of the emotions and what's really hot and how to fix up your house for sale to attract the buyer of today's market. So there you have it. Just understand the different types of appraisals: divorce, home equity, probate, market sale. You know, it's really crucial in understanding the numbers. The purpose can lead to different values. You're going to get different values no matter what. So understand that the value of your appraisal is not the true value of your home. And when it comes to pricing, really understand what your home is worth. Get both, all right? And if you want expert guidance, you want me to come out to your house and price your home strategically, reach out to me. I'm here to navigate the process. I can help you with a realtor in your area. I have tons of realtors in my mastermind group all over the United States and give you some great advice as well. I can introduce you to them, and you can maybe watch my next video coming up. It's about staging. So have a great day. See you on the next one.